Welcome to the Bougie Coop, the podcast for backyard chicken keepers with tight spaces, big dreams, and a flair for the fabulous. I'm your host, Lisa Ronsky, and every episode we'll talk about all the quirky adventures of raising backyard birds with a bougie twist. I'll just say it up front, I'm proudly one of those crazy chicken ladies. When I brought home my first chicks, I had no idea how much they changed my life. These incredible birds have brought me so much joy, connection, and honestly, a whole lot of healing. So whether you're a seasoned hen tender or still daydreaming about your first coop, you're in the right place. This podcast is your comfortable, slightly chaotic guide to small space chicken keeping. So fluff those feathers, pour yourself something sparkly, and let's dive in. Hi, and welcome to the very first episode of the Bougie Coop, where we keep chickens with flair, function, and just a little feathered fabulousness. I'm Lisa Ronsky, your host and proudly self-declared crazy chicken lady. When I got my first chicks, I didn't know chickens would take over my life in the best way possible, but here we are, and now I can't not share the love. If you've ever dreamed of having backyard chickens in the suburbs or already have a suburban flock, this is the place for you. Chickens are incredible little creatures. They give us eggs, entertainment, emotional support, and they ask for so little in return. And as a registered veterinary technician of nearly 15 years, I'm here to be their voice and make sure they get the kind of care they deserve. That means bougie coops, fresh herbs, maybe a chandelier, but also just really thoughtful care. Now listen, when I say bougie, don't let that scare you off. Being bougie isn't just about throwing money at things. It's a mindset. It's about keeping your animals in comfort and style, whether that means custom-built coops or clever DIY setups that sparkle with personality. We're going to talk all things chickens here: breeds, feeding, healthcare, coop design, and yes, I will 100% discuss decor. Because in the burbs, aesthetics matter. These chickens are your pets, and you love them, so their home should feel and look just as good as yours. Today's episode is a Chicken Keeping 101 crash course, specifically housing. Let's kick things off with a reality check. If you got chickens to save money on eggs, bless your heart, but no. Unless you're MacGyvering your entire setup for free, backyard eggs are not cheaper than store-bought. Can you sell a few dozen to friends and coworkers who appreciate fresh, spoiled hen quality? Sure, but you won't be paying off your coop with it. Most of us in suburbia are limited by space or municipality rules when it comes to flock size, so we're not necessarily going to be swimming in extra eggs. Plus, hens don't lay every day, and in the winter, many of them don't lay at all. And most eggs you're going to want to keep for yourself. Personally, I love giving eggs to my neighbors. I never charge them, they're gracious about having chickens nearby, and I appreciate that. A gifted dozen is sometimes all it takes to smooth out occasional chicken-related complaints. Which brings me to one of the most important topics in the suburbs: neighbors. Most of us live on top of each other in suburbia. That means communication is everything. If you're thinking about getting chickens, please chat with your neighbors first. Let them know your plans. Talk housekeeping, odor control, and pest prevention. And especially give a heads up if you're thinking about a rooster. Not everyone loves a 4 a.m. wake-up call, and in most suburban areas, roosters are a no-go. In addition to your neighbors, check your local city, county, or HOA rules before you get started. Just because you think a cute little coop belongs in your backyard doesn't mean your municipality or HOA agrees. Do your homework and save yourself a lot of heartache. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty coop and run design. This is where so many people fail to plan. You see those peeping, fluffy babies, and suddenly every bit of logic flies out the window. But baby chicks grow fast, and you'll need to plan their adult setup before they hit chicken puberty. You'll see all kinds of recommendations on space, anywhere from 2 to 4 square feet per bird in the coop. But here's the deal. That's just for sleeping. If your birds won't be free-ranging, and let's be honest, many of us in suburbia can't do that on the regular because we don't have the acreage, your run space matters a lot. In the run, aim for 8 to 10 square feet per bird. Bantams need on the lower side of that range, and giant fluff balls like Brahmas, the higher side. And don't forget vertical space. Chickens love to climb, perch, and explore, so include ladders, platforms, and flat perches. And yes, chicken math is real. You will want more chickens than you originally planned, so build as big as you can from the start. If you're thinking of getting 3 chickens, build for 6, and so forth. Trust me on this. Let's talk about nesting boxes now. The general rule of thumb is 1 nesting box for every 4 hens, but in reality, they're all going to fight over the same favorite box anyway. Now, where you place your nesting boxes really depends on your setup. Most people have them on the sides of their coop with a little door so you can collect eggs from outside, which is super convenient. But you can also place them inside the run if needed. Just keep in mind that the run tends to be a high traffic area, and most hens prefer somewhere a little more private and quiet when it's time to lay. If you have a walk-in coop like I do, you can also put your boxes right inside, which makes egg collecting a breeze. When I designed my coop, I didn't want the bulky exterior boxes, so instead I used some plastic baskets and tucked them underneath my poop shelf. They're easy to pull out, easy to clean, and my girls love them. Speaking of poop shelves, let me tell you, if you don't have one yet, get on it. Game changer. Basically, your roofs go above the shelf and you line the shelf with something siftable like sand. Chickens do a lot of pooping while they sleep, so this setup makes it so much easier to scoop and go. Highly, highly recommend. And while we're on the topic of roosts, make sure they're actually comfortable for your birds. Chickens aren't like little songbirds. They don't grip a tiny perch. They prefer to rest their feet flat and sit down on them to sleep, which also helps keep them warm in the winter. A 2x4 with the wide side facing up is pretty much the gold standard. Simple, comfy, and just right for those fluffy butts. And if you set the 2x4s in brackets so they can be easily removed to be cleaned, bougie move right there. Now, let's talk about prefab coops. You've seen them. Cute with a little run already attached and supposedly for 6 full-size chickens. That's a lie. They are tiny, and there is no way more than 3 or 4 adult full-sized fowl will fit in one of them without being sardined. For a couple of full-sized birds, those little coops are fine for sleeping and laying eggs, but that's about it. There's not a lot of wiggle room. Even just 4 standard-sized full-grown hens are going to be packed in pretty tightly come bedtime. Cozy might sound cute until someone starts pecking another girl's feathers out due to overcrowding. I totally get that living in suburbia usually means yard space is limited, so if you're using or thinking of using one of those prefab coops to save space, you really need to make sure your girls have plenty of time to free range if they can, or that you've got a spacious, well-planned run, because they will not be able to use a small coop like that for anything but sleeping and laying. And if you have one of those small prefab coops and want more than 4 chickens, you're going to have to stick with bantams. I started out with one of those prefab setups. I bougied it up, paint, solar fans, misting system for the summer months, you name it. And guess what? My flock outgrew it within 2 months. I decided at that point to have a custom walk-in coop and run built for my space, and let me tell you, it changed everything. It's not ginormous. The coop is 4x6, the run 6x12. But not doing that from the get-go was a waste of time and money that I could have spent on other things. Also, if you can walk in and stand up in your coop and run, chicken chores go from ugh to I'll be out there with my coffee and a podcast. Cleaning, feeding, bonding with your girls, it's all easier, and that means it gets done. Speaking of cleaning, chickens poop a lot. They're dusty, messy, and love to kick everything around. If your setup isn't easy to clean, you'll find yourself putting it off, and that leads to stink, flies, and drama with the neighbors. Not bougie. A clean coop is also a healthy coop. No, it doesn't have to be hospital-level sterile, and it shouldn't be because exposure to some dirt equals a healthy immune system. But it should be tidy, dry, and well-maintained. Give yourself every advantage. Make your setup as ergonomic and accessible as possible. If it isn't, cleaning it becomes a really frustrating chore and won't get done as often as it should, and a dirty coop is a smelly coop, and that attracts pests. And because our neighbors are usually right on top of us in suburbia, a stinky coop is going to really annoy them. Plus, having a smelly, buggy coop in your backyard right next to your house? No thanks. Now, let's shift gears to flock safety, because predators are a thing even in the burbs. You may have a Starbucks on the corner by your subdivision, but predators don't care. All of them would love to turn your flock into an all-you-can-eat buffet. When it comes to your run, using 1/4 to 1/2 inch hardware cloth is the way to go in building it. Hardware cloth is strong and secure and good at preventing a predator from getting in and should be able to keep out most suburban predators like raccoons or coyotes. If you can, secure your hardware cloth between 2 pieces of wood when you install it. If you can't do that, use screws and washers on top of staples when attaching the hardware cloth. As for chicken wire, it's great for keeping chickens in, but not for keeping anything out. A raccoon can reach through chicken wire and pull out parts of your bird. I'm not trying to traumatize you, but it's true. Don't skimp here. The money spent will be well worth it to keep your girls safe. And while you're at it, reinforce every single weak spot: doors, windows, latches, and locks. Coop windows should be open for ventilation and need hardware cloth or some other metal mesh instead of screening. Screens are weak and easily torn. Predators are crafty, and raccoons can open latches a toddler could handle. If you think it's secure, test it, then test it again. Think through electricity and water access too. It's easy and worth the expense to have an outlet added just for the coop area, and if you can, put everything close to your outside water spigot. While we aren't hauling buckets across acres of land here, even having to carry them across the yard is annoying and not bougie. And finally, cover your run. It'll help with predator control, weather protection, and even biosecurity. Wild birds carry disease, rain turns runs into mud pits, and smaller, lighter chickens like Polish or Saramas, they'll fly into your neighbor's hot tub if you let them. Before we wrap up, here's the golden rule of the bougie coop. Function comes first, but beauty should never be optional. Whether you're working with a big budget or DIYing with pallets, make it yours. There are gorgeous recycled pallet coops out there. Being bougie isn't always about spending the most money, it's about intentional, thoughtful design. All right, my chicken-loving friends, that's it for episode 1. I hope you're walking away with some fresh ideas and helpful tips. Got questions? Hit me up at thebougiecoop@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow The Bougie Coop on Instagram and TikTok for more behind-the-scenes and chicken glam shots. Thanks for joining me, and until next time, stay bougie.